Can you let us hear the probe's transmission?
Yes, sir. On speakers.
I'm just daydreaming about taking a huge dump and getting up to piss on the dump.
Spock, what do you think of that? Where are you going?
To test my theory.
I got a strong.
Hold, just stay here.
No way. Somebody's got to keep an eye on him.
So it's now part 10.1 of the Enterprise build and the second part of the nacelle paint job. So recap from last time, you can't see it, we worked on wrapping around the nacelles. So all we have left really to paint are the end pieces. In this video, of course, that's what we're going to primarily focus on, is button up all the paint that involves the nacelles, the front, the back, and stuff like the RCS thrusters, and touch up if there is needed, so we can actually move on to decals. But we got to get through this video first. So we're going to start off with the front section first, because just by looking at it, that's going to be a lot easier than the rear. The rear is going to be a f***ing challenge. So let's just get warmed up on this by just, like I said, doing the front because it's easier. So what we're going to do is the top part of the front nacelle. Realistically, you don't need to use the kit. You can just do it with strips of tape. Of course, these strips here is to hold it down. This right here is going to be my first color. Mirror image, of course, with both. Just for up here, there's really just 3 colors I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using green, blue, and gold. This is going to be green, the next color will be blue, and the next color, I'm going to finish it off with gold. So, anyways, let's get to painting. Let's get this video done. Let's get this thing built so I can move on. Here we go. Simple, easy pattern. All right, we're gonna do in here next. I'm debating whether to do both sides at once. I'll see how I mask it, if I have to do one side at a time or both. But I gotta actually try masking it first. So I've decided to do just one side at a time, just because if you had both sides, you're gonna have this flatten something and you're going to tear all these masks off, because obviously we have curves here and here, as noted by all this damn tape. So yes, this section is also known as mother status. So anyways, like before, least color used first, going on and finish off with the last big color, except on this one the least used color is red, and it is so small. It's actually, you know, smaller. It's smaller than any of these masks here, so I'm just going to layer it on top of something, just a little small tiny bit of red. But for now, let's just get to work. This corner here wants to pop off, so I gotta be careful. And then here. This one, I had to turn my pressure down extremely low. Alright, so I unmasked everything and then just made a small little tape section here, just where I could put the tiny bit of red. Oh, here we go. Tape here. So that's what we got so far. So now we'll do this side. So I decided to actually paint the opposite side off camera, only because it's the same fucking thing as the side I already just showed you. The pattern is the same, the color is the same, everything is the same. The same shit on how to mask it is the same headache and everything. If you really wanted to see me do it again, just backtrack the video and just watch me do that section all over again, because it's the same fucking thing. So this is what we have, this is where we're at. So moving forward now, I have to go ahead and mask up this bottom section. I was thinking about it. There is a mask set for it. All it is just some thick stripes that go across here. I'm kind of seriously going to probably skip using the kit just because I only want stuff when I can just do different size masking tape. So I'm thinking about doing that. I'm more likely going to do that just to make my life easier. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready to go, and we'll kind of get that painted and finish the front of the nacelles and deal with the back of the nacelles. So I came up with my plan. I decided that I am going to do my own masking with tape, But there is one little raised detail on the section right here. It's a little, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a rectangle, but at an angle. I decided to do that first, and that color is supposed to be in gold. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my tape in there. The reason why I was doing that, because I was looking at it and trying to figure out where is my tape, where my seam lines are going to be, because it's just stripes, but they're different thicknesses. And then just trying to figure out, okay, which one's going to be gold, and then masking just for this. So I think it's just going to make me a little bit easier by just doing that in gold first, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my masking on top of it and have this already masked over that just in case. So it's kind of like its own separate thing. Anyway, I have some gold in here already. So and that's it. So now I'm gonna go do my own custom masking, and since I have gold already in there, we'll shoot gold first and figure out the other colors. Okay, so this is my tape pattern. And what's open is what's going to be the first color, which is obviously gold, because that's what I still have left over in here. So spray the gold. And you're the one who's making all the noise.
I'm not.
You didn't say a word. You're blabbing your mouth.
You.
Those are idiots. That's my interpretation on how the bottom looks. Backtrack a little bit moment about this section here. So basically this kind of design was based off of the Orbital Dry Dock kit because they have stripes. The Trek Models paint guide doesn't really say anything about here except for that gold raised detail, you know, right there. That's it. So I tried to go look into some screenshots of something decent right here. Couldn't really find anything. So this is kind of like my own interpretation, or just what I kind of feel like it should be based on how the rest of it was, especially up in here on the color scheme and all that. So I didn't really use any red in here because I don't think there was really much red here to begin with. So I kind of based it off that. And also, I forgot to paint, and I kind of noticed it halfway through dealing with this, is during the wraparound part on the very bottom of the nacelle, as if this was upright, over here you have that curved bulge area. Well, on the end it's like gold as like caps. So I end up repainted this one sometime off camera, but I have yet to do this one yet. But in case you're wondering, on the very bottom end, kind of have to cap it in gold. You'll end up seeing it later when this whole thing's kind of done, but that was my mistake. I forgot because, you know, I'm a fucking idiot. So anyways, I'm gonna, after this, kind of considered the pearlescent on the front part done, so seal it up, and then time to actually kind of start getting prepped on the back half. which I am and not looking forward to, only because of the toughness on how the masks don't like to stick for f***ing crap, especially on curved surfaces. And there is a brick pattern on the end, which I'm kind of worried about that going, turn into freaking dragon scale. So, anyways, I guess you're about to find out right now, because as this video goes into another scene, you're gonna probably hear a rant. So guess where we're at? We are now onto the back end of the nacelle, which I purposely waited to do this as the last section of the Aztec 5 color, because that is absolutely the hardest section to paint. It's the hardest section to mask. So that's why I waited to the end, because I want to get much experience using the masking set and all that as I can, because you're going to need it. Because I would not try to do that first, because oh my god, it's the worst. Not only with the issues I've been having with the masking set, but just overall, just the way it's supposed to be done. It's like you pretty much got to use all techniques, and even some that's of course, you know, I'm also using the Trek Mahler's paint guide, and that thing was kind of designed with a bit of Aztec Dummies masking set, and also make your own by cutting up painter's blue tape and other kinds of stuff like that. So you literally have to use all tricks that you can just to do the pattern for here. Now this sucks. I mean, this is a nightmare. Just one of these on one half, I don't know, I probably spent like 3 hours just trying to get it workable. On the orbital dry dock kit, it's basically, it's made up in 3 sections, but it's designed to go all like half from the top and half to the bottom, but it's not cut out for the fin on the side in mind. You're gonna have to figure that one out for yourself to cut it, because I don't see why you would want to paint it before this is even attached, because you got to glue it and all your other work and stuff. You're gonna ruin your paint job. So it's better to paint it afterwards. So, you know, so you're gonna run into issues like I'm have with, you know, stuff lining up on the bottom, because I had to cut it to where it lands right here and goes halfway. Now, speaking of that, my first attempt at this was I wanted to go all the way around, because there is a gold pattern going crisscross all the way through here, and it connects or wraps around. But if you're going half and half like here and you split it, and if you're not perfect in like your gold shading and other colors, you'll be a little lighter or darker, and you're going to obviously see your line. And the other problem is when you start on the other side, making sure it all lines up perfect. So that's going to be an issue. The reason why I didn't do it is because on the difficulties on installing this, which I'm constantly having to push it down, which I'm doing right now, you're going to be working with it on a flat surface, and you're going to be tearing up all that stuff, and then you got to find all your little pieces and reapply it when it doesn't really want to hold anyways, and then you're tearing apart the other side, and you're just chasing your damn tail. So I really wanted to do the whole thing, so making sure my paint work looks even all the way around, but I'll be just fighting the masking set like the never-ending story. So I have to actually do this in half. I don't have a choice. And one little thing that's a little bit forgiven, especially if you're going off the Trek Mahler's paint guide, which is not in account for this masking set, is on the fin here, there is a pattern that just goes underneath, wraps around, and goes up on the top. It's similar to what above the photon torpedo area on the secondary hull is. Just some, you know, not an arrow pattern, but just an angle pattern with dots that's light gray and blue. So when we get to that part, it's basically, I'm just going to mask off the paintwork and just respray all this white. That's why I'm not fully covering all this, just where the holes are for the lights. So I don't want to get much paint in there, but I'm going to end up having to clean this up again by just remasking everything. So I'm not stressing on overspray on the fin. So anyways, here's an example of 2 techniques I had to do. This is the first one that I did, which obviously to me looks like, but it's where I can correct it afterwards. We're over here. See, this is terrible. I actually decided to do this on my own by using, you know, different thicknesses and tape. The green tape that you can see in there is my thinnest, which is roughly about a 1/16. So I kind of did my best I can just to follow the pattern with on the top, so it looks, you know, how it is, and then just had strips that just go over each one where I could just pull and remove. So that should actually look cleaner literally than this. Of course, the biggest issue that I'm also fearing is blow off, especially on where the gold goes. Now my plan on how I'm going to paint this is, I'm not going to, when it comes to up here, even with this set, it wants to veer off for some reason. It's even on both sides. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to I'm going to paint the main 4 colors first, the main bigger ones, except for up here and down here. I'm going to leave literally the last piece solid and just basically paint from in here to in here in this area. And then I'll reapply the other side and kind of do the same thing, but I'm not going to do the stripe yet. I'm going to end up remasking them basically with my green tape here. Sorry, I'm not going to remask with my green tape. I'm going to remask the 5-color pattern here and just leave all that open in the end, and then I'll just respray the whole thing around. And same thing up here, I'm going to end up doing up here separately with just my own tape, so that way it'll actually blend into both sides better. So if I leave that open and this open here, I could do my own and just kind of blend it into each one and try to make it look less seamless as possible. Now also, you notice in here there are small little detail areas, whatever. I decided to take them off because they don't hold for crap anyways, and I'm just going to let like the little bit of overspray of 5-color go in, so it'll actually kind of paint that as is, and it'll be just a random color by itself. These patterns is supposed to be there. It's in the studio model, you can see it, but as trying to, like, you know, reapply and deal with stuff like that, I'm just going to let overspray be the color for that. So anyways, so I guess we can get started on the paint work here. I gotta unmask the first color that I want to do. Oh, and by the way, these stripes in here that I'm going to do towards the end is gold, but I don't want it to be the same shade as gold as the brick pattern, so those ones will end up being darker. Okay, I've been dreading this part for a long time, but this is the end section of the 5-colorness, other than some weird accents. So I'm really looking forward to getting this part done, because then we can get closer to actually decaling and assembling it all and getting this damn build over with. This build's been taking nearly almost geez, I started this in July of 2023 and it's mid-April 2024. So this is probably going to be pushed to a year. I hope not, because I got some other I want to film. Okay, enough of my rambling, and let's get this going. Let's just hope this part turns out all right. I'm freaking out on it. All right, the least used color is red. Just 2 spots. we go. Just also to show, I got transition down here. I'm actually going to fade it over so there is no gold on the edge, but it's close to the edge I can get. So leave that one. Okay, so now I'm gonna unmask all this. I'm not gonna do the pearl white yet, nor am I gonna seal it just yet. I'm gonna go ahead and actually unmask it and cover this up and then do the other side. So we're now on the other side of these nacelles. My opinion on masking this section is just as difficult as the other side for different reasons. Some of it's easier, some of it's harder, so it's just evenly difficult. Easy part is you don't have that fin in the way. The hard part is still nothing sticks. Literally from here on up, I had to replace it all by hand on both sides. And as you can see, a lot of it doesn't actually hold that well, so I have to paint this very carefully because as soon as I press it down, it pops back up. So I literally have to watch what I'm doing every section of the way. So anyways, the pattern on this side is different than the outboard side, just letting you know. So there's no need to try to do a mirror image because it's different. And this one starts off with the least used color, which is on green, where the other side was red. So it's like literally press it down and paint. Here you go. That's one. Pressure and paint, pressure and paint. for that. Oh my God. Masks don't stick. Especially when you get to the end of it. Sorry for the no audio on the last part. It was too nerve-wracking to actually get this section painted. Well, the last section and this one. I ended up just jumping right through it without even plugging myself in. But this is basically the same thing. The pieces don't stick, so I'm trying not to paint underneath it. So I kind of have to hit some areas at an angle where it hits the edge of the mask instead of up and underneath it. That's what I want to avoid, because then I'll end up painting something that I don't want painted. But literally, they don't stay down at all. So, it's just how it is. Last of the color, I just got to get through this one. Then these masks can come off. And then have to do my own custom little thing. Here we go. Even. Stay on. Oh yeah. I'm going to kind of explain on the next part on how I'm going to blend and transition the two halves together. So in the middle of the masking process, what I'm doing is I have some vinyl fine line tape that measures 1/132 of width. That's how wide it is, which is perfect for this because vinyl fine line allows to stretch for curves, whereas regular masking tape, it doesn't work that great. So anyways, this will be a better one to show you. So after unmasking, I ended up just using the space in between, as you can see, like maybe like right in here and stuff, where the gold is going to be, but it's not there now. I used it to kind of transition all the way forward to the other side. But of course you can see up here there isn't much paint, just a little over on one side and a little bit of a blend and fade into. Same thing with over here. That's because I'm going, like I mentioned before, I'm going to end up making my own hard lines here and create kind of like my own pattern, so it actually blends in more seamlessly. Same thing for the bottom. So I'm going to finish masking up certain areas where it's like, here would be a good example that needs to be kind of fixed. So what I'll probably do is just make this whole area red. I don't know yet, but I'll do that as I'm monkeying with it. But that's how I'm going about fixing where it has to transition to. Without it, it would have just looked like so. Anyways, because this masking kit is it. Sometimes you got to get innovative and creative. Just do what you got to do. So I'm going to do red first because that's the primary color that tends to have the most overlap on the top, as you can kind of see right there. So I'm just going to kind of blend it into there. So there we go. So that's how it transitions. Same thing with down here. There's still more touch-up painting that has to be done. Like I missed a little bit over here, which I have more gold to do. I can fix that later. Same method. Right here there's a raised detail that will end up being gold. Only thing is missing, of course, is the gold stripes this way. So the way I'm going to do that is obviously just mask over all the detail and just leave only the stripes. But of course you can see it. So just leave the white spots and just continue to go over. So it's getting there. It's getting there. So that's the next thing that you'll see me do is put on some stripes, and it'll really make this thing stand out. You're barking up the wrong. Ain't gonna beat around my bush. Well, hello there. So, massive amount of taping. Took quite a while to do this. Took a lot of tape, but I don't have to worry about any blow off or any shit like that. So, all of this just gets gold. So let's do it and start wrapping this thing up. And I'm making this gold just a little bit darker than what I'd be using for the Aztec paneling. That's just because that kind of is the way it looks. That way these ribs, you know, kind of stand out. Maybe up my air pressure a little bit. The golden child. Now I'll get to unmask again. There it goes. So this is what we have, or I have. I think it came out pretty damn good, given what I had to go through. Now I still have some little touch-ups and fix-its to do, which I'll end up doing off camera next. Like down here, I gotta make this gold here blend. This is raised detail right here, so I'm gonna make that gold. And then I'm also going to probably also do off camera is, of course, this part of the fantail where it has all this paint extra work on it. I'm going to go ahead and recoat that white, and also the area which would be in the next section would be this detail that goes around the fin on this side. So I'll just get that prepped, you know, recoat this white so it'll make it blend a lot better. But basically this is pretty much it for the Aztec 5-color portion of the build. But this video is not done yet. We still have some more painted to do on this. So that's coming right up to a Built by Rock video near you. Okay, so what I did off camera is that I repainted the dorsal fin here white, and underneath this tape the raised detail white, and in here I have exposed that I painted white is where this stripe pattern is going to go. It's a combination of a very light gray and a little bit of the iridescent blue. But what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to paint the whole stripe area blue as one color, and then I'll go back over, mask over the areas that need to remain blue, and then I'll just paint over the whole thing of the light gray, and then we'll have our pattern. So let's just start with the blue. Trying to make sure it looks even as possible. So I'm kind of going like little fat strokes so I don't get it looking a little spotty. Of course, where it meets the side, it wants to be a little bit lighter, so I have to take angles into account. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make my little mask pattern out of this, and I'll be doing some light gray time. So now I have my pattern masked up. I mixed up a really light gray, basically mixed up white with a few drops of light gray to make it an ultra light gray, kind of like this color. Don't have a sample to base it to, but so anyways, let's just start spraying. This may take a few coats because now I got to bury the blue. Definitely got to do a few coats. Okay, I'm going to let these dry a little bit more on their own. Then I'm going to unmask it. And I already do my little gold touch up, which that will be off camera. But I will show, before I do that, I will even show you what I got here. Well, this is what I'm talking about. So, anyways, the little dots in there, it's just much easier just to use a very fine tip, marker pen, something, like that, like a super duper fine Sharpie, whatever, a colored one. I happen to use the turquoise one that I used on doing the, some of the windows in the saucer that's supposed to be turquoise, because I didn't have that type of blue, but it's so small, it works just fine. Just, freehand it in, looks good. But actually, I'm not done with the 5-color painting. Just going back, looking through the paint guide, and for any last little things is, well, obviously the stripes just dive into nothing. Well, actually, it's supposed to be into something, but it's not in the orbital dry dock mask kit. But you actually kind of have to go right on top of it anyways. There are 3 colored stripes on both sides. First there'll be a gold one, and then I believe a green one and a red one. You can kind of see it in the motion picture when you see the ass end of the ship leaving the dry dock. If you look carefully, you can kind of see it. It is there. The gold one right here, basically it's a transition line that will dive right into that. So we're going to be doing that one next. At the same time, you know, I got to paint that gold because I forgot and do that. So I'll deal with the gold crap first, and then we'll do other stuff. So let me get this end here masked up for that section, and then we can actually blow on some pearl white over this, and then get on with like some red dots and some RCS thrusters and whatever else it needs, and wrap this one up. By the way, I forgot to show you the little green stripe areas, or gold, red, green. That's how it's supposed to look. So now I guess pretty much undo most of this and deal with the little accent bullshit. Hopefully we can get on to another video. Paint is done. I decided not to do the little red dots. I decided I'm going to do the decals, because just looking at the decals for them, they're ultra fine and they actually have little specific shapes to them. They're not just dots or anything. So I'm going to decal those instead, because they're really microscopic and very fine detail, which I won't be able to accomplish with paint. So the only thing I just did was off camera is I just did the little RCS thruster here, and I just kind of finished I solar res the little spotlights up in here and around the inside the RCS thrusters, put a dome on for the little navigational blinky, and installed, glued in with some canopy glue, the little warp crystal right here. But other than that, paint It is basically done. It is done. So glad about that. But of course, always still keep the same paint you have around handy, because the only time if I'm probably going to need it is for assembly, for touching up around areas where these will meet the pylons, where the neck meets the saucer, or it happens. I may get a little tiny scratch or something into it. But other than that, it's basically time to end this video. We're going to end it right now. So the next video that I put out will be starting the decal process, actually the strong back on the secondary hull. Get to work on that, because I got aftermarket decals from that from HDA Model Works for the motion picture one, because that's the more accurate color than the kit supplied. And so anyways, I'm actually stoked that the majority of the paint is done, almost like 99% of it, except for putting on some clear also to seal over the decals. Okay, so with that a wrap, let's read it.